Hello and welcome to the Tyre Straights Podcast, the most unprofessional motorsports podcast you're going to find on the internet. We are your two hosts. I am Doots.
And I am Scobbo.
Perfect. And we come back to another week of there being a lack of Formula One and having to essentially tread water with a bit of a filler topic for today's episode.
We haven't gone completely insane yet.
No, not yet. We're getting there, though.
Slowly.
Gripping towards it. But today we're going to be covering, once we've done the general news, our liveries, the best liveries that we think there have been in motorsports, in our opinion. But we will get to that in time. First off, though, we've got to start with some general news around Formula One and a bit of motorsports in general. And we are going to have to start this one on a much more of a serious note than we usually would, as over the past weekend there have been several incidents in different motorsport series that have led to the death of a 25-year-old spectator in the South American rally in Cordoba, who was killed after one of the cars lost control through a corner and hit a rock, rolled over onto the crowd. Two others were injured. And also in the 24 hours of the Nürburgring qualifiers, Juha Meitinen, one of the racers, was involved in a massive pile-up and has passed away. And we are sending our condolences from us two here at Tyre Straights Podcast. Condolences to the family of both Meitinen and the spectator. And further safe recovery to the other two that have been injured. It's a stark reminder that while we do really enjoy motorsport, we have to remember how dangerous this is and that these people are constantly putting their lives at risk.
And I think to add on to the latter, there's going to be some, I think, questions raised in the wake of that about, once again, the suitability of the Nürburgring for racing. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but obviously after the 1976 crash involving Niki Lauda, in which he almost lost his life, the Nürburgring was never once again raced on by Formula One. And slowly over the years, as racing has just gotten faster and more refined, it's found itself less and less popular with top flight series. So, yeah, it is unfortunately a tragic reminder of the dangers of motorsports. And like you said, we send our condolences to those who have unfortunately lost their lives.
Indeed. But we shall now move on from that to the regular Formula One news section, which we hold. And we have got a big point to mention here, because thanks to this long break, it means that there's been a good amount of time for officials to get together and discuss changes for the regulations. And the first set of changes are happening here in Miami. As such, we have got a list of different things that they have been trying to improve to help with the changeover. First off being qualifying. That they are trying to promote performance, aiming at reducing the excessive harvesting, to encourage more consistent and flat-out driving, essentially reducing the maximum permitted recharge down to 7 megajoules from 8. And they say it should allow greater adaptation to circuit characteristics.
Yeah. One of the things that has been said, especially in regards to qualifying, is that with the increase, with super clipping, with the battery now going from 250 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts, it's basically going to see less of drivers running out of steam down the straights effectively, which is what we've seen recently. It's not completely eliminating it, and they have said this, but we will see less significant slowing down of the cars by the time they reach the end of the straight as the battery begins to harvest again. So it should make things just a little bit more consistent, and as they've said, it should make the speed profile of the car a little bit more natural and after the crash involving Oliver Bearman at Suzuka, it should make things a bit more safe as well, because it's reducing the sort of lifting and coasting that drivers are doing, that obviously many of them, such as Alonso and Verstappen, have complained about.
Yeah, it's an attempt to improve safety going forth. After that crash, thankfully Bearman was okay.
Yeah,
but there was a pretty clear evidence raised to the issues between like cars going 20, 30, even 40 kilometers an hour slower than one another, than other, and colliding. But it's mainly about safety. I know they're also changing race starts again to improve the safety mechanisms. Essentially, a new low power start detection system has been developed. That automatic MGU-K deployment will be triggered to ensure a minimal level of acceleration and mitigate start-related risks without giving an advantage to certain teams. And there's meant to also be a visual warning system introduced for it to do with the new flashing lights.
Yeah, so a lot changing to Formula One. It's not obviously going to be completely unfamiliar by the time we return in Miami in a few weeks, but it's definitely going to be a change.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I think, something for people to look forward to. I think. What do you think overall about this change? Like, what's your take on it, and how do you think it's going to affect things?
I mean, we'll have to have a look at the end of the day. I think that the changes should be helpful, but we have to see them in practice. I'm going to be honest, Miami is maybe not the best proving ground.
No.
For running these.
No, it really is not.
I believe after Miami we've got something a little more sensible, I want to say, but I could be completely wrong on that. We got Canada. Canada after Miami.
That's a more proper.
That should give some amount of impression, and I think by the time we rock around to Catalonia, at least, we'll be able to tell really how good these changes have been and whether it's worth repealing them or tweaking them more. Generally, I think they're just going to keep tweaking things until they get stuff a bit more smoothed out, and that's what this first year is.
Exactly.
So
like, I think people are too quick to forget the fact that we went through this whole song and dance in 2022 as well, with the teams themselves becoming very unhappy. By that I mean Mercedes becoming very unhappy with the way that the cars were performing under those regulations. So this is not exactly unprecedented, and I think it has been a slight blessing in disguise for Formula One to have this opportunity to have an extended break. You know, obviously not something that they planned for, but an extended break in which they can discuss making these changes and begin implementing them. So it should make things a little bit more interesting in terms of the racing, in my opinion. We'll still have what's good about the new set of regulations, but while hopefully eliminating some of the stuff that people are less keen on.
Yeah. It's a good way to try and reduce some of the worst aspects.
Yeah.
All right.
But also, to change in Miami, Aston Karting, that old chestnut, they've been approved for the use of a new engine for Miami, and the aim of this is to reduce the vibrations that were basically going to cripple Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso, and hopefully increase the speed without, negatively impacting on the already terrible reliability. So, Aston Martin fans once again breathe in the hopium.
This is is this an entirely new engine, or is this just like an updated version of their current?
From what
engine?
I saw, I've seen a few places I've seen a few places publish about this. It could be either. Neither of which was particularly clear. I think 3 different sources I've seen release the news on this, and I've not seen a particular clear answer as to whether it's a wholly new power unit or derived from the existing one, but with a significant overhaul to the point that it's considered a new engine.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Well, I mean, anything is some amount of improvement for them. Generally, I'd say that like they've just been so down in the dumps that anything is worth a shot. It's kind of, but I can see it not being that great an improvement. It's like something that happened in MotoGP recently, where Yamaha were easily like one of the worst like bikes on the grid, and they were hyping up this big change, and they were bringing in a new engine, a new V4 engine, which was different to what they were running before, and they bring it in, and it's no better. And it's like, it's arguably the same or worse.
The thing for me, my prediction with this is that it doesn't really impact performance significantly, but I reckon it's probably going to help reliability and at least mean that they can finish a race consistently, you know? So I think that's going to be the main change with it. And I obviously hope that the performance is improved as well, but there's nothing to sort of say with any certainty, in my opinion, that we can suggest that it will be like that. But either way, I think Aston themselves have kind of like relegated this year to like just testing whatever they can to improve for the rest of this sort of set of regulations. So I think it's definitely going to be, it'll be worth keeping an eye on what they do over the next few weeks, because I think, like I say, they're going to be doing a lot of different things to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. And I believe, unless there's anything else you want to say about the general news, I believe that's everything.
I've got everything off of my chest.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right. Now we are going to be moving on to the second section of the video, which is the theoretical meat and potatoes, but it's a little bit lighter than some of our other episodes in content. We're doing what we would say are the best liveries. So we have each picked 5 liveries plus an honourable mention across all Motorsport, and we just want to sit here and have a little yap about them, talk about how good they are, discuss them with one another, and see if we can think of any others that we've forgotten about to bring up to you. Because one of the things that is definitely, well, I wouldn't say it's a lost art. I'd say that it's definitely some liveries that looked better back in the past when they had a bit more, certainly for Formula 1, when there was a bit more colour on the cars and they weren't so much trying to do weight saving, which thankfully that has been changed this year.
Now,
but large swathes of time where it's all just carbon fibre.
Yeah. Now the criteria for this has been entirely opinion based. This is not going to be a ranking of the best motorsport liveries of all time. Basically, what we've done, as Doots said, we've each gone and picked some liveries while being careful not to pick the same as one another. There's no crossover here. These are all just what we think are the best looking liveries. Well, the criteria is entirely best looking, iconic, maybe they were associated with a particular driver or a successful period in a team's history. And just to clarify as well, these are in no particular order. So we're going to go one at a time, back and forth, give a livery and then explain why we like it and what's good about it. And that's nothing to do with, whether it's like number 5 for us or number 1. So.
Yeah. Right. In which case, do you want to take us away with your honourable mention?
I'm more than happy to. So my honourable mention, I would say narrowly missing out, but I had a few. You'll know that as we were planning this episode, I had a few sort of perennial contenders for this honourable mention position. But I ended up, not to spoil anything, but I've gone for a lot of very retro or classic liveries. So I wanted to go for something a bit more modern. And what I ended up coming up with is the Spike the Dragon LMP2 car run by AO Racing across several endurance racing series. That was
like the bright purple one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the bright purple dragon livery. Yeah. It's raced in IMSA, WEC, European Le Mans series. In fact, I saw it racing when I was at Silverstone last year for the European Le Mans series. So it's a cool looking and very original livery. It's the same as the is it Rexy, the Porsche 911 with the big mouth?
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of vibe to it, and I like that. But,
same vibe.
it stands out on the grid, and it's pretty cool looking, and it's a livery they've run for a few years now, and it's become a bit of a fan favorite among the endurance community.
Yeah. I mean, the Rexy was the LMGT3.
That's it, yeah.
Car for AO Racing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so they've got a bit of a habit of doing this kind of thing, but I'm definitely a big fan of Spike the Dragon, and I think it just about beats out the last year's VDS Panis LMP2 car, which I that was the team I was supporting last year in the European Le Mans series. So that was a really nice looking car, but I think Spike the Dragon has just that bit more unique appeal to me. And it's a cool looking car. It's modern compared to all of my other ones.
It is on the modern side for you. I love that. Just like fun little details, like the little wing down the side
the
of
little wing, little teeth on the nose.
Yeah.
On the snout. It's a cool looking car. I like it. And obviously, if you're listening to this and you get the opportunity, just look up some of these liveries as we go through them, because obviously they're some of our favourites. We can't recommend them enough. So
yes, unless we can somehow manage to beam an image into your mind by just talking about it, then you're going to have to Google them for yourself.
I'm activating your Neuralink.
Beam the LMP2 car into your head now.
This is the download for the LMP2 car image into your head right now.
Now we play a specific like sound wave that if you stick into a visualizer, it makes like the image of the car. Nah, all right. On to my
radio frequency that describes the image of the car in great detail.
It's like an audio, like like audio visual narration for the car.
That's what we're willing to do for you, the loyal fans. Please subscribe or follow us on whatever listening platform that you are on.
Yeah.
Anyway, your turn.
Yes, my turn. Sorry. And I have gone for my honourable mention. I've gone for Formula One, and it is the Alpine F1 car from 2021. It was clean. Yes. The red, white, and blue with the red A on the side. I will also extend my honourable mention to just being the Alpine hypercar as well. Because that's a very similar livery colour-wise.
You're doing things
and it's
to me
that
here.
same idea of main blue body with the back rear slash that has the red on it where the A sits. And I just think it looks so nice, so much more clean than the blue and pink. Well, I do like the blue and pink. I just think it's nicer. It's just like a nicer looking car.
It obviously had some very cool moments on track, taking Esteban Ocon to his first win in Hungary, and
Ocon
also
to his first one.
as well as being able to witness the absolute defensive masterclass that tractor was able to pull off at the hands of Alonso to help Ocon win that race,
and took Alonso to a podium.
Yeah.
But the hypercar for it especially. Which I don't remember for the life of me what the specific name of it's called, but it was their hypercar program that they've been doing recently. The best part about that is that the rear lights are in the shape of the Alpine logo.
Oh, I love it when they do that. I've seen a few endurance teams starting to do that now.
It's such a small, dumb touch, and I love it.
Yeah, a few endurance hypercar teams have started to do that, and it's really quite cool.
Yeah. It's really nice. I think it works really well for Alpine, and it's a shame that they've got that they've kind of dedicated to the pink at the moment, but that is just BWT's kind of colour.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Now on to your first one.
So the first of my my best liveries of all time is a Formula One livery from the early 2000s, what I would consider to be the prime years of Formula One, and it's a team that didn't have significant amounts of success on track, but my God, did they look good. It was the I've gone between 2000 and 2004 for the entire existence of Jaguar Racing in Formula One, because I can't particularly pick a specific year from them in which like they were better, because they kept their livery relatively the same, with the green, the red, and the red highlights and the white on the side pods, with the HSBC logo. that sponsorship being a very big part of the livery, and obviously the Jaguar logo across the airbox. It's just a really, really cool looking car, and it has that sort of retro vibe while still to this day I think looking good as well. Like when I was doing my research earlier, I've seen a lot of like concept arts of like people putting that livery or like the basic ideas behind that livery onto different cars across the years. Like I've just looked at it. I've just seen one with like the 2008 style chassis with the crazy aerodynamic parts on it, and it looks good in no matter what like era I see it put on. It's definitely, I think, one of my favorite motorsport liveries of all time. Just from that point alone, like it's timeless, and you can just put it on anything and it will look good. I mean,
it is
it's a
such
shame.
a good color.
Yeah, it's a beautiful green, and that it had that metallic like metal flake paint to it as well.
Yeah.
So the green would like shimmer under like the light. It just it's glorious to look at, and even if they didn't do particularly well, they did kind of become a little bit of like a hero team at the back. They were supported by people who liked them. They were sort of considered like plucky underdogs with something to prove, and that's good fun. But I mean, it obviously driven by some big names as well before they moved on to bigger and better stuff. You had Mark Webber at one point in there. You had Eddie Irvine after his stint at Ferrari, and Pedro Della Rosa, one of the greatest drivers to never be considered great, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just a beautiful car. I can't rave enough about it. Like it's so aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It's not even like a complicated livery either. It's very plain, if anything. But it just with the color combination and the logos and everything, it just kind of works beautifully.
It's quite simple for the people at home, for their reference. It's a majority green livery with these white like lines down the side.
It's like a highlight over the side pod and the nose.
Yeah. Like the Jaguar going up to the airbox, and like the main HSBC logo in the white box on the side, which is great.
Yeah,
but
like,
also
I like the incorporation of the Jaguar along the airbox, because the back of the Jaguar kind of follows the line of the airbox.
Yeah, it's really cool. But however, what I will say is, if you had to pick one of those, because it's 5 years, so it was 5 liveries.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one of them, which would you say is the best? Between the 5,
I think for me,
because they were very similar.
They were very similar, like you say. I think for me, it has to be either. I think 2000. I was going to say either 2000 or 2003, but I think just looking at them again quickly, the 2000 one has more. It has green. The rear wing is painted green as well, while on the 2003 it's painted white, and I think it's just got a cleaner line with the all green over the top, and then the white sort of on the bottom across the sides. And also it's got gold wheels, if I forgot to mention that. It's awesome looking. So yeah, the I think it's called the R1 from 2000.
It was the R1 to R5.
Yeah, the R1 from 2000. If I had to pick one of the 5, I think the R1. It's got the gold wheels, it's got the green, it's got the white, it's got the Jaguar, it's got the HSBC. And it's just got class.
I'd completely agree on that one. The R1 is easily the best looking at them. I also think it's the because they were sponsored by Bex for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
And I don't like how the Bex logo
in the next
with the
2
circle.
years, when they put the logo in the circle, it just breaks up that clean line a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not so keen on it.
But that's a very good shout.
Yeah, well, I'll throw the ball over to your court. Hit me. Surprise me.
And for me, I'm going for another F1 car, this time going a bit further back into the 90s, where I'm going for the Benson and Hedges Jordan from 1997. I think yellow and black is a damn good combo on a car, and it's such a shame that it's a big shame that Cadillac didn't go for it.
Yeah.
But the Jordan from 97 had the like viper eyes on the front
and the scales on the side,
which really really added a bit of life to it. It also had like the total on the front, Goodyear on the wings. like all sorts of fun. I love the red total air box as well.
Yeah, I was gonna
It just
say.
looks clean, and the B&H stripe down the side with the scales was like such a just iconic look. Even if they weren't exactly tearing up the track or anything, they were fan favorites for a reason. And with it was Schumacher, like Ralph Schumacher and Giancarlo Fisichella, they even got a couple of podiums that year, I believe, at it would have been Argentina and somewhere else. I want Canada. That was it. But
yeah.
Fisichella got one. Oh no, he got two that year. So yeah, they got three podiums that year. In the 97 car.
They were obviously never like gonna be in the picture for like championships or anything, but like they could. They I think for certain periods of time, Jordan was less of a backmarker and more of a midfield car. Like they could scrap for like the odd podium here and there. And even obviously a year later in 1998, admittedly thanks to a lot of carnage happening on the opening lap, Damon Hill, who moved there in 98, was able to win the Belgian Grand Prix. So they did get some good results.
But yeah, no, and I mean, Spa always brought
Ralph Schumacher also. Did he get win? He got wins with Jordan, didn't he?
Maybe. I feel like he.
I think he got at least one. Yeah. I think he got at least one.
Yeah. I'd have to look into it.
And obviously his wins at Williams are what I think of in my mind, but that's why it's kind of cloudy about whether he did or didn't at Jordan.
Yeah, but the other awesome one that like I think is just such a neat detail. They got like the Viper eyes down the front of the nose, but they've also got the connecting boards that go down to the front wing. They actually have the fangs.
The fangs, yeah.
For the snake on the front, which is just so cool. It's a
really cool car.
It's ridiculous, over the top, a little rock starry and stupid, and that's exactly what Jordan was.
I was about to say it embodies them perfectly.
It embodies Jordan perfectly, and it captures just such an essence that is yet to be matched. I will say, I think the black and yellow is just a good look.
Yeah.
Like when they brought it back for the
Renault.
It was the 2020 Renault. That was incredibly clean.
Like it just, for some reason, on like a Formula car like chassis, it just really works as a combination. No, I don't think it even matters which way round you put it. Like having black and yellow as a color combination seems to always hit.
It always hits a certain way, and the livery still sticks out in my mind as one of like probably the most interesting and best livery of the 90s for me. Maybe not the most iconic, but it is my favourite.
Yeah. Well,
right, back to you.
I'll take over again. Now, my next one is from it's from my other favourite racing series, fair to say. So he was kind of famous for the way his car looked, and it's what helped him become known as the Intimidator. It is indeed the Richard Childress Racing number 3 Monte Carlo, driven famously by the late great Dale Earnhardt in NASCAR Cup Series. For those who aren't aware, obviously you might not be a fan of NASCAR. I think even then most people are at least somewhat aware of this car and just how cool it looked. Because at this point in time in racing, it was kind of few and far between where you had like these all black villainous looking cars. I think the only one I could think of in like Formula 1 was like Shadow for a few years when they were around in the 70s.
Yeah.
But then black kind of died away in like F1 and such. Like, but yeah, for the longest time, the black number 3 of Dale Earnhardt, the Chevy Monte Carlo, and was it Illumina for a few years as well, I think. That was that for basically from 1988 to his untimely death at Daytona in 2001. Dale Earnhardt remained the Intimidator, as he was called, with his black car. mostly black with a sort of silver stripe along the skirt along the side, and then obviously that big red and white
The
number
massive
3. And it's just with the good wrench across the bonnet and the rear. It's a very clean livery it's so simple, but it plays into that simplicity, and it's become one of the most iconic racing liveries of all time. I think it obviously gets spoken about less than, Golf or perhaps Marlboro liveries, but as a standalone, it really sells itself and has a special place, obviously, in the hearts of many fans across the world. You think if you watch any race from that time, a few of them have been uploaded to like YouTube and such, so you can see not only how good Earnhardt was, but just what made him so loved. And part of it was the appearance of his car. That sort of evil, like, black car. He was the heel of his day. He was, he was the villain. He was the Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen character he was polarizing in the sport. You either loved him or you hated him. And a lot of people who hated him could remember a time when he would have crashed, that he would have wrecked their favorite driver. So, he polarizing figure, but undeniably, if you saw that black number 3 behind you, your palms got just a little bit sweatier and your lip may have began to tremble. It just had this raw image to it. I hate saying the word because of how grossly internet-ized it has become, but it had an aura to it that was just unmatched, and I don't think has ever been recaptured either.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Awesome looking car.
It is a very iconic car. Even as someone who doesn't really watch NASCAR all that much, it is a starkly iconic car.
Yeah, I think for people who've never watched a NASCAR race in their life, I think they'll know the number 3 driven by Dale Earnhardt. They'll probably know the number 43 Plymouth Superbird driven by Richard Petty. There are a few very iconic cars to come out of NASCAR over the years. So
yeah, I'm a little shocked that that didn't end up there.
It was a toss up, but I think just personal preference did make the decision for me. As much as I love Richard Petty, and he is obviously, and I think the number 43 Plymouth Superbird is the most iconic NASCAR car of all time. I think just for me, the black number 3, it has something to it that is more, it's got weight to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, in which case, let me move on to my next pick, which is going over to the world of motorcycle racing. And while there are a number of incredibly iconic bikes, and I'm certain that there will be plenty of people that will be shouting out for the Repsol Honda or, Valentino Rossi's bike as the Doctor. But I have gone for a bit of a wild card pick with the Rizla Suzuki from 2008. A blue and white bike that is so starkly reminiscent to the R25 from Formula One, a car which I think looks absolutely fantastic, and unfortunately I could not have picked it for certain reasons. But the style of it's just this stark, like, light blue with the black and yellow stripe going down the middle, and the Rizla Suzuki on the side. It's got the slight Motul, like, red undercarriage. It just looked so clean in the hands of it was Christopher Mullen and Loris Capriosi, I want to say, or Capriosi, or however you pronounce it. But that was it wasn't exactly the best bike on the grid. I mean, Vermeulen managed to get a couple of podiums with it, and I think Capriosi did, but it's not... much like the Jordan, it wasn't one that set the world on fire from its actual performance. It doesn't have, like, this history to it. It doesn't have, like, the whole thing of it being this massive winners thing, like Rossi's bike when he was on the Yamaha or anything like that. But it just had a certain style to it that just looked clean. It always looked so nice. And as a slight other honourable mention, just because of its sheer similarity to the Rizzler Suzuki. I would also be remiss to not mention the Trackhouse Aprilia, which has been around the past couple of years, and that is a very similar kind of blue and yellow, but it's a much more luminous yellow, which I think is what makes the difference. If Trackhouse changed their yellow color to that more kind of like Hornet yellow that they had, or I guess, what would you call it? That kind of like slightly darker yellow.
No, I know what you mean. That sort of like deeper kind of color, rather than being. It's got less green and more orange in its hue.
It's more of a it's almost more of like a golden kind of color.
Yeah, that's it.
That if they move the Trackhouse, like the green they use for the Trackhouse, over to that gold, I think the Trackhouse would replace it for being my favorite MotoGP bike in appearance. But the Rizzler Suzuki is currently the best. It's just so clean. It was just looked so good.
I don't know what it is about like racing bikes in this case, but also just racing vehicles with like a blue and yellow livery. There's just something that really, really works with that.
I think it was just something that stood out at the time, and it's also because you think of a racing car, and in like people's if you know nothing about racing and you think of a racing car, you think of something red.
Yeah, like Sebastian Vettel said, you know.
Yeah. And like if you ask someone to draw a racing car, they will draw it red.
Yeah.
And as such, seeing something that has the same elegance and style of any racing car, but in that a nice calm blue.
Yeah. But
like
then
it's
got
awesome.
that like stark highlight with the yellow.
Yeah.
So anyway, my next pick is the blue and yellow Renault R25.
There we go.
You kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but yeah, the Fernando Alonso is my favourite driver of all time, and it was in this, the R25, and the subsequent R26, in which he won his 2 Formula 1 World Championships in 2005 and 2006. Renault had this sort of blue and yellow livery from the point at which they stopped being Benetton and became Renault up until 2006. 2007 they moved to the that white and orange like Singer
it was like
livery.
the Singer
Singer they had. Yeah. So for a period of a few years they had this blue and yellow livery, but I've specifically picked the R25 because I think that's the car upon which it worked the best, not only from the shaping of the body and the aerodynamics package, but also just the distribution of that blue and yellow, where the stripes are, and just how it all comes together. But it is just, you have this kind of blue body as the base on the side pods and along the top, but then you have these 2 yellow stripes that come from the back, go past the cockpit, meet in the middle, and sort of wrap around the nose. And it's just, it's got such a simplicity to it. And you have this sort of very dark, almost blackish blue as like an extra highlight on the rear wing and at the tip of the nose that cuts underneath and also separates the main blue of the body from the yellow. It's just, it's got like this iconography to it, as I think I can say safely. Like, it has the visuals, and thanks to also its success in Formula 1, obviously, at this point in time, you have to remember Formula 1 was dominated by Michael Schumacher and Ferrari in that red and white car. So to have this basically stark opposite with the blue and yellow, it kind of almost upset the established order at the time. And it was this beautiful colour as well. The blue is really nice, and like you said, that yellow sort of almost goldish orangey yellow. That it just they complement each other so nicely without clashing, while still being starkly different from one another. Thanks to how successful that car became and how it overthrew the Schumacher and Ferrari dynasty, it became so iconic. And for me, as a long-time Alonso fan, as a long-time Formula 1 fan, as someone who, like I said earlier when speaking about the Jaguar liveries, who views this sort of early 2000s period as the prime of Formula 1, I just can't... it's possibly my favourite livery of all time, possibly. It's just got so much in it for me that makes it so perfect. And I don't think there are cars like in recent years that have really come that close to being as good as this.
That is very fair. Right, in which case, I'm going to take it over to
The blue and yellow car.
my next one, and shock horror. Actually, it's another blue and yellow car.
I just looked at it and I realised.
Yeah. I stopped for a moment, and actually, it is another blue and yellow car with heading over to rallying. I've gone for the Subaru Impreza 555. Which was the car driven by Colin McRae,
famously,
during the '95 season, I believe it was, and it was a Group A rally car before the main WRC rule set had actually formally come in, and that this style of car, the specifically the Subaru Impreza 555 was they used a similar livery all throughout their run up until 2008. They got rid of the 555 though at a certain point when there became issues with the tobacco sponsors, and McRae obviously won in it. They also had Peter Solberg won in it from memory, and then it was Richard Burns won in it as well. So yeah, it was a pretty legendary car. 4 lights on the front, 555 across the bonnet. Like, it had a certain style to it.
Yeah.
And the I mean, even then you had plenty of people drove this legendary car. You had Carlos Sainz driving.
It across the time in which they used that 555 sponsorship with Subaru, it was across many years. I think more than a decade. They would partner together. Obviously, a very successful partnership.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they kept 555 up till nearly their departure.
Yeah.
From WRC, but I could be wrong on that one.
I think you're right. But I haven't brushed up in recent.
Yeah. The one I'm sticking with is mainly the 94, 95, 93 to 95 cars. During Group A, and they had a certain style to them. They had the gold-plated wheels as well.
Yeah,
which was so fucking good. Though that might have been 96.
Unfortunately, I think it had it earlier as well.
I think it carried it through. I think it carried it through, but it's just a clean car tied to some really iconic drivers.
I was going to quickly interject and say it became so iconic to the point that obviously the symbol of that 555 Subaru, driven by, I think, most notably Colin McRae, became such a thing.
Yeah.
You had the Colin McRae rally games and things like that, you would pilot this 555 Subaru of his.
The Dirts, the Dirt racing series, was from Colin McRae. And you also had it it became so popular that the Impreza is a very well regarded. Yeah. Just a general car now, as with a lot of rally cars.
Yeah. And I think it's got a legacy to it. Being rally bred, it having so much success. Is it the most successful rally car of all time? I swear it is.
No. Goodness, no. Most successful would have been the whatever Loeb's Citroen was.
Oh right, okay.
Which I think was a C3. But Sebastian Loeb winning 7 titles on the bounce.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right.
So it would have been that, or Sebastian Ogier's Toyota, I think, or it might have been another Citroen. Hold on, I shall quickly check.
Yeah, just most winningest rally car of all time. It's definitely it's God, we're both looking at this.
On the so the Citroen DS3 WRC had won 6 titles.
Yeah.
All with I'm pretty sure that was majority Loeb and Ogier.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking in terms of rally stages is one. The C4 has won 36.
Yeah.
Which puts it 3rd of all time.
Yeah.
Which pretty impressive.
pretty good. But no, regardless,
Slight
the
side tangent.
Subaru, legendary car, very well known.
Yeah.
And it's got a style of its own, and it is another like blue and yellow car.
It is indeed a blue and yellow car.
Tell me, is your car gonna be blue and yellow?
I unfortunately have to break the blue and yellow streak with another rally car, though. Mine is... This is possibly, like, the most kind of, known of the liveries we're going to discuss here. Like, the most iconic, like, full stop. And it is the Martini livery, specifically in use in rallying on the Lancia 037 from 1982. Obviously, the Martini has sponsored so many like cars and teams across the years. Like they've been in F1. Like obviously they've sponsored several rally teams. They've sponsored other like GT cars, Group C cars, all sorts. Martini is just one like Golf and Castrol.
They've just been everywhere.
They've been everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But specifically on the Lancia 037, I think that's the most aesthetically pleasing rally car from the Group B era, in my opinion, with that Martini livery. And there's just something about the combination of the two that makes it like a joy to look at. It really is just a marriage and a harmonious one at that. You've got like the blue and the red stripe down the side with the Martini logo, the Lancia badge on the bonnet, and then obviously just that nice clean line that the Lancia 037 had. It's just a great looking car that obviously was a very successful car, driven by some very successful drivers, and it did well. Obviously beating the Audi Quattro to the World Rally Championship. Was it twice with the 037 or just once?
I think it was twice. I think it was only no. They only won the constructors once with it.
With it, okay. It was because obviously they won other with like the Integrale, the Stratos.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the story with this one where they won the season and then gave up.
Yeah,
like didn't go to the last two rounds.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But the 037 obviously became one of the most iconic rally cars of the Group B period. Yeah. And with that Martini livery, and obviously the Martini livery just does look good on most cars. It's that blue and red and white colour scheme with a very simple kind of pattern of that blue and blue with the red stripe in the middle on the sides. It just does complement most cars it ever gets put on. Obviously, I remember when Williams had it as a sponsor for a few years in the early turbo hybrid period. That looked good. That was so good.
That was up until like 2017.
While they had when they had Massa and Bottas, I think about it. Like that's when it stands out for me in my mind.
I also remember it was up until at least when they had like Stroll and Sorokin.
Yeah, Stroll and Sorokin. I think I think you're right.
Yeah, it was Sorokin. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, they've done all sorts, and it's just become like this famous car livery. It's obviously especially associated with like Lancia and rallying, like with the Delta Integrale as well. But also, Porsche have a lot of liveries with a Martini. You know, like the 911, the 917 in Group C.
I think it's the Martini stripes down the side.
Yeah,
have become almost synonymous with that era of rally. Like if you ask someone to draw or like think of a rally car off the top of their head, they're gonna think of one with those stripes down the side.
From that, at least from that Group B period. You know? Yeah, just a
great
looking.
Even going into like Group A, a bit,
absolutely.
It's still.
But also, obviously, Group C racing cars. You know, before you had the LMPs and then eventually hybrid cars, as they're now called in the World Endurance Championship. You had Group C, and you had Group C. Like you had like I said, the Porsche 917K had a Martini livery at one point. You just had it's a great and timeless livery that looks good on so many things, and I think for me it looks best. And I did pick it because it's a rally car as well. I wanted to vary things up a little bit, but on the Lancia 037, great looking car with a great looking livery. hard to beat, you know.
Yeah,
Pleases the eyes.
that is very fair. Right. I have gone for my next car, a incredibly well-known one, being the Ford GT40. And I specifically am talking about, for the livery, I'm specifically talking about the one that they ran in 1967. Get your jokes out of the way now.
Oh, I'm not that special.
When they had the Golf livery that they ran, it wasn't even for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, it's when they ran it for the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Yeah.
And that
Number
was
6 car, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. And that was a legendary appearance. Generally, I want to use this to kind of segue just into the Golf liveries.
I was about to say,
in general.
do you include like the Golf livery as a whole?
Like, yeah, it's in kind of the same as we're talking about Martini. The Golf liveries are generally have been some of the best and some of the most iconic of all time. But I would say that the GT40 has probably had one of the best Golf liveries.
I think just trying to cast my mind back, I think that's probably the best looking the Golf livery has ever been.
It's got to be out there.
It's
I will either say other Golf liveries that I remember off the top of my head. There's definitely been several in Formula One throughout the years. Numerous in MotoGP as well. The recent ones for Formula One, I know McLaren had it a bit back, and I know Williams had it like last. They bring it back like every year, I think. Williams now,
something like that, yeah.
And then I think
also
it's Trackhouse.
I was gonna say also the Porsche 917K that I mentioned with the Martini livery.
Yeah.
I've seen that with the
that was at a Golf
livery
at some point.
Looks very good.
Yeah, but no, I just think like the GT40 in particular is obviously a legendary car, with it marking Ford's wins in the Le Mans series and the legendary races of like you had Bruce McLaren, you had AJ Foyt, you had Jackie X, and of course Ken Miles. How could you forget?
No, obviously we've all seen the film.
Yeah, but
great film.
Oh, it's a really good movie. It's a phenomenal film. But regardless, the Golf liveries. Now for your last car.
Yeah. Now, I've also gone for a car that won Le Mans, with the Group C Jaguar XJR 11 with the Silk Cut livery. Now, as much as Silk Cut is nowhere near as nice as something like Marlboro, would never recommend it. It obviously was a very successful racing car, and really good looking car. Like the livery as well on it, beautiful. That purple and white with like the gold on the wheels and like the tiny little yellow pinstriping highlight, like it just looks really, really nice. And I've seen concept liveries of like a Jaguar F1 return, or also like on different like Jaguar cars, like as a throwback livery. It looks really good, and also just like the shrouded rear wheel on the XJR 11 with that like silk cut over the side of it, and then that purple like divided by that yellow underneath it. It's got the perfect distribution of the white and the purple for me. You got like purple across the top of the cockpit, and then white for most of the body, and then purple sort of sitting underneath. And that yellow stripe, like it's tiny, but it does the job in dividing and breaking the lines up a little bit. Just a really great looking car, like, and obviously one that is iconic. I won't say it's my favourite of the ones that I've proposed here, but it is definitely one of my favourites of all time. Just, great looking car.
It's a very good looking one. I think the best part about it is the purple, which
that purple is a really nice purple.
Yeah, unfortunately that purple, I'm pretty sure, did come from Silk Cut as the sponsor.
Yeah, I was saying.
Which the problem then is getting them back in.
Yeah.
To sponsor anything because of tobacco
rules. Yeah, they've not got like the Mission Winnow way, or like a better tomorrow.
No, they're not going to be able to worm their way around
to get around it. I don't think they care as much.
No.
But yeah, it's obviously from a dead era of motorsport with that massive amount of tobacco and alcohol sponsorship that they used to have, and I think, just to wrap up with all of mine. Obviously, like I say, I've got very retro tastes, And there's no denying that obviously the silk cut Jaguar, the Renault R25 with the mild 7, obviously we talked about like Marlboro, but also Martini as well with drinks and things. It's definitely a shade. It's of a specific era in motorsport when you had like this mass sponsorship from like it was that Playboy kind of era. You know, you think of people like James Hunt when you think of these kind of cars, and it exudes that kind of lost era of the racing world, which obviously did have its issues with misogyny, obviously, but
I mean,
it was just a special, like it was a special time, and it truly gave us some of the most iconic racing cars of all time.
It definitely did, and I think a good chunk of it is more just from the color that they all brought. It's less so from, in my opinion, from specifically the fact that it was alcohol and tobacco.
No. It was just the fact that it was them. That's what I'm saying.
It was the fact that it was them that was bringing this pop of color and style.
Yeah.
Whereas
have you seen
to some of the later, and it just had insanely plain and bland logos, and they weren't bringing anything to the package. Like, as much as people were taking digs to all high hell at stake, you cannot say that the stake car was not at least memorable for being bright green.
Yeah. And I mean, I was going to say, like, Jägermeister liveries, they were really cool with, like, the orange on the Group C Porsches and,
I was considering
the 911s.
Going for the Jägermeister.
Obviously, it's just a solid orange livery, but it still looked good and it still sits in the mind, you know? The Porsche 962, that's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah. Just awesome looking cars, like, with these liveries, and it's obviously something that we just don't get now. And it is obviously a shame, but at the same time, you know, promoting smoking to children or young viewers as we move into a modern world in which, you know, motorsport is promoted to younger and younger people. I can understand why we have moved away from that.
Yeah.
But it is a shame, like you say, that these sponsors, they brought with them iconic liveries. You had the blue and yellow mild 7, you had the purple and white silk cut, you had the white and red Marlboro, you had the orange Jägermeister, you had the white, the blue and the red from the Martini. It's just all of these liveries are awesome looking.
And I think what it means is we just need to wait for a team, you know, like a sponsor to actually reach out and make some iconic liveries for cars. And there have been some. I mean, honestly, the BWT Alpine has got a certain style to it that I'm sure I think we'll look.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll look back on that more fondly than we obviously do.
Even the V carb, is that as well. The Visa on the side looks good, and it is going to be like memorable the chunk of time when it's V-carb.
Especially that 2024 one, I think, for me. One of the best looking liveries of the recent years.
I think the 24 and the 25 look so good in so different ways. Yeah. But we are getting sidetracked.
I say, that was kind of my closing remarks for mine anyway. But back throwing the ball over to your court.
So I'll leave those as my closing remarks as well. Because it's kind of same sentiment, but mine are a little bit more on the newer side.
A little.
And to cap mine off, it's another Formula One livery, and that is the 2008 McLaren MP4-23. Also known by most people as the Vodafone McLaren.
Yeah.
It's just the silver and like reddish orange was iconic.
With the
Mobil 1 on the airbox, like the logo fitting into the streak around. The way that they've like actually made bevel into the design to fit around where the red would be, the red rear wing, everything about it just looks sleek and fast.
Yeah,
like it's clearly an evolution on like the West McLaren.
Yeah, that was kind of their imagery for a while, with that silver and then into the chrome.
Yeah. But the addition of the red from, or like that reddish orange from Vodafone, just made it pop. Especially that combined with its spur of domination in 2007 and 2008.
Yeah,
and that really brought them forward.
I was going to say, it just makes me think, like, it became so iconic. I can remember, even before I ever watched, like, F1, like, or before I could remember watching F1 at least, there was this sort of iconography around these silver Vodafone McLarens. Like, I saw toys, Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton, obviously a bit later than 2008, they first paired up in 2010, but like they became like a thing, like a big thing over here. And I can remember in my childhood even not being that interested in F1 until like 2010, 2012. Like just seeing that car, like, and the imagery it presented, it just became so iconic.
Like it's just like it's such an iconic style of car these days. So much so that they try and bring it back all the time.
Yeah,
like McLaren still bring back the chrome pretty much.
I wish they'd do something a little. I know obviously they can't because they don't have a Vodafone sponsorship. But I wish they'd do something just a bit closer to that.
I wish they could as well, but unfortunately, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah, I mean, even just like replacing the Vodafone and like the red with the orange, like the current papaya orange, and just putting more of the chrome on, I think that would look so good.
But it was such an iconic livery, and it still holds up in my mind. It's like when you sit there and think, like the 2010s, like so early 2010s, late 2000s. The car that sticks in your mind is that Vodafone McLaren, even if it only won 1 year, and yet it still sticks out so strong.
It's a great car. Like that the 2008 specifically, like obviously
the 2008
carried Lewis Hamilton to his first championship, became an icon. It's like something that we look back on fondly. It was the start of like a dynasty, really, wasn't it?
I mean, yes, certainly here in Britain, like Hamilton getting his win in that 2008 McLaren, you'd see it everywhere.
He became a superstar immediately.
Instantly became a classic around us. But
now,
I think that's about it. That's mine done.
I was just going to say quickly before we move to wrap things up quickly. Is there any that we've like missed out? Any glaring ones? I did briefly like mention the Castrol one, which was heavy in like rallying and GT racing. That was a very cool one.
Rapid fire honourable mentions. I'm going to talk about some modern ones.
Ferrari livery. Any Ferrari livery.
Any of the Ferrari liveries besides the 2024 one. Or maybe the 2025 one.
2025 yeah.
2025 I'm thinking of.
Yeah, 24 was actually really good looking, I was going to say.
Yeah,
we were about to scrap.
The 25 one, it looked grim. Any of the recent Grassini BK8 liveries for MotoGP, they all look really good. I think the burgundy combined with like that kind of Gulf blue just looks so clean. Anything else?
I'm slightly shocked neither of us like put forward to pick like Marlboro.
Marlboro McLaren is good, but I do think
not one of my favourites, but definitely I think out of all of them the most iconic. It's
iconic more than it is a good livery, in my opinion.
I kind of agree. I can't lie. It depends on the year of the car.
It does depend. Other ones that haven't been mentioned, the Rothman Williams.
Yeah, I will just say classic. I was gonna pick that. That was one of mine, but it just got beaten out by the Silk Cut Jaguar. Literally by a hair, but like the 1996 one I was going to pick specifically, I think that was the one time it looked the best.
The
Rothmans Williams in the 90s, they were good.
That's fair. In going more current day, I do actually really like the current Hyundai i20 WRC
the
car.
rally,
the Aston Martin Valkyrie in hypercars looks really clean.
I was going to say the Aston Martin in Formula 1 as well. I think that's one of my favourite F1 liveries. As much as the car is dreadful, it's a very good looking car.
That's fair. And anything else I want to mention? Off the top of my head?
There's nothing that's screaming to me that's gone, how have we missed this? You know? I did kind of slightly honourable mention the number 43 Plymouth Superbird earlier, you know?
Yeah.
A very iconic car from NASCAR, yeah. So, I can't think too much.
I think
I think to top it off, I think I should just add Red Bull have obviously, as much as in F1 they've kind of become very same in recent years. They've obviously been in multiple motorsports for a long time, and just like Martini and Marlboro, they've kind of become that same kind of thing where it can cover all and look good on most things.
And any of the Red Bull livery, so that includes the current Red Bull F1 cars, any of the endurance cars they sponsored, any of the rally cars they sponsored, the Red Bull KTM bikes.
Yeah.
I also want to throw in, for sponsorships at least, Repsol, who have been in all sorts of different sports. Most notably for me, Repsol Honda, for when Marc Marquez was absolutely dominating. Back in like mid to late 2010s. And that was iconic then. But I think that's about it for honorable mentions. I think
we've done a pretty good job. Obviously, if you, dear listener at home, can think of any that we've missed or think that we were chatting a load of bollocks, please leave a comment, give us some engagement, and we'll definitely respond in the next episode.
Yeah, tell us what liveries we've missed, what liveries you think we are completely wrong about,
and
also what liveries you think we've slandered.
And also tell us which of us you agree with more.
Indeed, and put that down in either the comments to this video on YouTube, the comments on Spotify, or on our Instagram.
Yes, because I'm sure there'll be a post about this to come.
Yes,
but with all that being said, just before we wrap things up, we typically like to go over just some other news from the world of motorsports more generally in the last week or so as of recording. So, Doots, what's been happening?
Yes, for our other series discussion, we start off with WEC, or WEC. It is finally back, and we've been to the 6 hours of Imola, which was a pretty good race. I didn't get to watch it in full. I was at work, so I had to watch highlights. The hypercar was won by the number 8 TGR hypercar. There was a brilliant fight between the Ferrari of the 51 and both of the Toyotas, in all fairness, up at the front. It's also worth noting that this was Genesis's first race since joining Hypercar. We've got more Hypercar programs joining for next year, but we're the first of the new joiners this year being Genesis. And points for Aston Martin, so they're already doing better than in Formula One. And the podium ended up being the number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing, the number 51 Ferrari, and then the number 7 Toyota Gazoo Racing. Now onto the LMGT3 class. This was one that I also didn't get to watch tons of, and it was won by the number 69 Team WRT, so one of the BMWs. In its Tic Tac livery, which was very random.
Oh.
But they're doing a different livery for each race, I don't know, they just decided...
Slap on a Tic Tac sticker.
Yeah, I mean, no, realistically, it was like this like white and green pattern, which I think looked pretty good, in all fairness.
I haven't seen it. I've only seen like the hypercar highlights, so...
Yeah. No, that's fair. Absolute disaster for Codis ASP, with both of their cars suffering. Basically one of them pulling over to the side while another was in the pits, meaning that the one pitting lost a ton of time when course yellows came out. And then also the Garage 57 car, which is one of the McLaren backed cars for the number 10, they were set to win and had actually taken pole, but mechanical issues meant that they dropped a long way back, which let the WRT jump forward and win, followed up by the 33 TF Sport, and then the number 92, the Benz team Manthe. Right, and then on to IndyCar.
Yes.
The IndyCar race was a really strange one, because it was incredibly dull, and I'm beginning to fear that Long Beach is turning a bit into IndyCar's Monaco.
I having only watched the highlights from this one, for those who aren't aware, the highlights for this race were only 7 minutes long. So I think that should tell you that there weren't a lot of highlights.
There was not tons that went on. One of the most notable things was the start. And it's not like there was anything majorly interesting at the start. All that happened is just that the front pack of 6 were like a good 100, 200 meters ahead of all of the rest before the race had even technically began.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly weird. But essentially, no one could... Rosenquist held from pole all the way until the last pit of the race.
I was going to say, it was won by... It was the overtake for the win was done in the pits.
It was done in the pits. Like, the overtake was done in the pits. with Palou taking the lead. After that, there was no chance Rosenquist was overtaking. So we had to settle with Palou winning, Rosenquist in second, and Scott Dixon rounding up the top 3. It really brings into question whether it should still be kept around, but I'm certain it's probably just an off year.
It's kind of like Monaco. It's just it's an iconic track for the series.
Yeah, you can't get rid of Long Beach. No. It is well regarded.
And Alex Palou has, I think this was like his 7th try at Long Beach.
Yeah,
and this was his first time winning there.
Well, finally got it.
So it has got like a little bit of a feel good atmosphere to it, regardless of the fact that it was quite boring.
And regardless of the fact that, my God, does Palou need to win something else?
Yeah,
this man is rinsing.
He is. It looks like it'll be another walkover year for him so far.
I'd certainly say it looks like he's going to be hard to challenge, but there's still a good chunk of the year.
I mean, so far the kind of thing with him has been he either wins or he crashes.
Yeah. And
obviously
he's now
thinking back to, was it Phoenix?
It was Phoenix where he hit the wall.
Hit the wall, that was it, yeah, okay. I
was right. It's basically, he's now jumped like a good 17 points ahead of Cole Kirkwood. So we shall see.
We shall. But anyway, to round up our discussion on other series for this week and to sort of conclude this episode, I normally like to talk about the NASCAR Cup Series if a race has occurred on the weekend just gone. And this week just gone, we had the Advent Health 400 held in Kansas, which was won by Tyler Reddick. Sort of like you say with Alex Palou, I'm starting to get a bit sick of Tyler Reddick already. Not only just as a Hamlin fan, but also, it was an early battle between Reddick and Hamlin. Reddick had pole, but Hamlin controlled quite early on. He almost won stage 1, like he was leading for most of stage 1, before eventually falling behind Carl Larson, who was able to find some pace, as well as Chase Elliott and Reddick, who were battling each other for the second position. But later on in the race, Hamlin once again took control and was set to win. With only 2 laps left, Hamlin was leading quite comfortably. And then Cody Ware spun out with only 2 laps left and destroyed one of his tyres, which meant that the race went to overtime. And that meant that Hamlin got quite a bad restart, unfortunately, and fell behind Reddick. And after Carl Larson made a very aggressive move down the inside and got past him, he also fell behind Chase Briscoe. And that then rounded out the top 5. So a bit of a sour one for a Hamlin fan, and even Denny himself seemed quite unhappy about the result. But at the end of the day, what happened. And the last thing as well was Ryan Blaney. It's almost like a comedy at this point. His pit stops this season have been so dramaful, but so dreadful. And that trend continues in this race, where he made contact with AJ Allmendinger in the first round of pit stops. Basically, as Allmendinger was coming in, Blaney was leaving his pit box, and he made contact and nearly span Allmendinger around going into his pit. So it was definitely Blaney does not have good pit stops this season, and I think that's something he's gonna want to definitely address before next year. But yeah, just because we did finish on the NASCAR, I'd like to just segue into the end of the episode, because next week, please do join us when we take a bit of a deeper dive into the world of NASCAR. Obviously, with a bit of a gulf until Formula 1 returns, and with one of the biggest races of the season, the spring race at Talladega, the Jack Links 500, it's going to be a big one for NASCAR. So we thought, given the fact that we've got some time between F1 and now, we'll take a bit of a deeper dive into NASCAR, and yeah, that'll hopefully be one to look forward to.
Yeah, that'll carry us over to Miami, which will be just after, and we'll finally be back.
Exactly. We're so back.
Yeah. Right, and perfect. I believe that's everything we've got to
nothing else to say.
Discuss. Yes, so we've got to quickly say thank you to listening, or thank you for listening.
Thank you to
listening. You've made it this far in the podcast episode. You can, if you like our content, you can follow us over on the Instagram at Tyre Straights Podcast. Follow us here on YouTube or Spotify, whichever platform you're listening to.
Both.
Even both, if you're feeling generous, but any support is very much appreciated. And if you've got any questions or hot takes or anything you want us to mention in the next episode, certainly in this case regarding Talladega or anything that happens Formula One or Motorsports news-wise, please drop a comment or a message to the Instagram account, and we shall definitely take a look at it and shout you out for it.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And with that, I believe it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.